Naps family, Lynn, your certified feline master groomer, back with a video on maintaining your long-haired cat's coat at home. So make sure you've already checked out my tool video to go over which combs I recommend for long-haired cats, because that's what we're gonna be using in today's video. This is my personal Persian Pandy, so she's a good girl. So like I mentioned in my short-haired cat video and in my video about trimming nails, if your cat is an escape artist, which most cats tend to be when they're getting groomed at home, make sure that you're on a counter height table that is pushed into a corner so that you limit how many escape routes they have. So Pandy's usually pretty good, so we should be all right. So I always start with my bigger, more spaced out tools first. So we're gonna start with our big body comb. Just like in our short-haired cat video, everything goes with the growth of the hair, not up against the way that the hair is growing. So you always start at the back of the neck, work your way down towards the tail. So you really want the comb to be as close up to the skin as possible, okay? So you wanna make sure you get all the way down to the skin. And yes, there's going to be some resistance. So you just use short swipes to get through those areas of resistance so you can get all the dead hair out. Okay, so we're just gonna work in all different areas. You wanna focus and start with down the back, down the legs, around the rear end. So I'm just hugging her and holding up her body. So I'm combing down the legs, all over, all sides, inside the back legs. Switch your comb to the other side, do it on the other side. The more you do this, the less resistance you'll have from the hair and the more pleasant it will be for your cat. So more regular combing is better than infrequent rough combing. Same thing with the front legs. I just like to hold them up under the belly. You don't want to pull their legs out into the side. So I just like to hug them. And so same thing, go down this side. Hi, good girl. You're a good girl, we're just watching. And so we just do all over with our largest comb. This is gonna get out the big sections of dead hair, right? And then we go over the face a little bit, under the chin. Now I had a mat that I'm trying to show for this video. I'll have to find it later. Okay, we just do all over. Under the chin is a big one. So the biggest areas you want to be focusing on for long-haired cats is definitely going to be under the neck and chin. You also want to get around the ears. So that's where I recommend having this little tiny comb. This is my face and feet comb. So I want to start with around the face. She's got some goopy eyes, which we'll clean in the next video. So we go around the tops of the ears, everything with the growth of the hair, the chins. Good girl. A lot of times they'll push into it because it feels good. Yeah. Oh, that's a good girl. Gonna put your head up. There we are. So now when we get to the sections right around the ears, a couple of my clients have found little knots. This is what this comb is going to do. So we can see this is just from the head. So far this is from the body. Hello. So what you want to do with the ears, you need to hold it out of the way and then comb all the way up at the base of the ear. So if you can think of the ear, you need to get up in here because that's where those little mats are going to form. But you don't want to catch the little flap of ear. So they have this little flap of ear right in here. You don't want to catch that with the comb. So you want to come from the back and start working your way down the side without catching that little patch. But that should help you to get any little tiny knots that start to form. So this is the little tiny knot that I just got out from behind that ear where I was just describing. So we'll check on the other side. I feel with my fingers, see what's going on in there. And then move down that section of ear just to get the little tufts. So when they're little, they come out really easy. Waiting until they're really big, that's usually where you need a groomer to step in. So next what I'll do is take my little comb and I'll go down the feet. So a lot of cats hate this part, especially if they do not have it done regularly, because they get a lot of these little tufts in their legs, especially Persians. So this is going to be important for you to start introducing before your cat is matted so that you can only have little ones to deal with. So I just lift them up to comb out legs. Hi. Next, so we did all over the body. We did around the face, we did under the chin, we just did the legs. Now, the next thing I would do on your cat is the belly, but unfortunately, my kitty is shaved on her belly because I just like having a lot of my Persians and belly shaves. It's so much easier to maintain because combing out belly and armpit mats is not fun for anybody. And if a cat comes into my grooming salon that has belly or armpit mats, they're gonna get shaved out. I don't demat bellies. So, but what you wanna do is that if you have a cat, say, that's growing out from a belly shave, or if they're not matted in those areas just yet, or they're starting to get little tiny clumps, this is that stage of the order that you would go in. So you start with the back, get used to using your tools around the face because they're gonna get knots and gross and food stuff around their face, down the legs, and now we're gonna move to the belly. So what I like to do is, again, hug them, lift up the leg, and then I start to comb out the belly, starting in the armpit. Hello. So we do the sides and the armpit. You can also have them stand up or sit on your lap, just like we were doing in the nail trim video. So this is just going through the motions. So you would do the belly, and then I'm gonna have her all the way stand up so I can do the insides of these legs. I know, some cats just don't like their legs done, and she's gonna get real mad when I do her tail, which is the final thing that I like to do because a lot of cats don't like their tails done, especially big fluffy Persians. So once everything else is done, now a lot of cats, if they've never been matted before and they're not big fluffy Persians that can mat kind of everywhere, a lot of times the mats will focus on this area right in here, this base of the tail and starting to go up the legs and down the sides. This is because they have additional oil glands concentrated in this area. So it's very common for cats to have an abundance of oil in this area. When the oil gets stuck with dead hair that's trying to shed out but hasn't yet, then more hair will get stuck together, more hair will get stuck together, and then all of a sudden you got these big rock hard clumps all down this stud tail area. And unfortunately, when they're big rock hard mats, they have to be shaved out. There really isn't a way to comb them out without leaving a big bald spot. So that's why I always say start with the body and then move into the tail at the end. So I will just kind of hug her up against my chest. You can also hug them this way, but I don't like to give them an exit strategy. So that's why I tend to hug them more like this so that they can't really go anywhere. Hold their butt up and then comb the tail down. So now this is my own cat who gets this done regularly, and even she's not thrilled about it. So if your cat is a little feistier with it, don't worry, it's not your fault. So we just do a little bit. Remember, shorter strokes to get through areas that catch and longer strokes to get through the entire thing. Now she hasn't been bathed today, so she's got a little bit of static, but that will go away once I give her her bath and blow dry. I don't normally do a lot of combing out before the bath because honestly, all of this hair would have come out during the bath and blow dry process without me having to even get to this part. So it also loosens up a lot more hair so that during a professional groom, I can get way more hair out than you can do at home. So that's why I don't tend to recommend or require my clients to do a lot of grooming at home because I know I can get way more of it here in my salon. And that's what you pay me for. So I'm gonna get way more hair out than you get at home. But these are things that you can do at home between your grooming appointments or to space out your grooming appointments if you're having financial difficulties or scheduling is an issue. These are all things that you can do at home. But you need to start as early and as often as possible. I'm just feeling she's got little ones down here. And that's pretty much it. So these are the two combs that I mentioned. The last one is this comb. This is my mat removal comb. So I've kind of just combed her all out and there really wasn't anything big, but there is kind of one up here in her ruff. So I'm gonna demonstrate for you exactly how I remove small mats from cats. So the first thing you wanna do is you wanna find and locate the mat entirely. A lot of times mats will be little clumps and you'll be able to see them separate from the rest of the hair. So you don't want to just go over and try to yank out hair willy-nilly. You really have to separate the hair so you can only see the mat, because when you bring your comb in, all you want to get in your tines of the comb is the mat, and you want to get completely underneath it and it's just going to pull out, and it's a swift tug. This only works if the mats are the size of a dime or smaller. So these are only for tiny mats. If you've got big honkin' mats, you're just gonna have to give me a call, unfortunately. Cat mats don't break up. They don't break up like dog mats. They're not tangles like dog mats. They're clumps of dead hair, right? Miss Pandy knows. Miss Pandy knows all about it. So she's got one little clump on the back of her ruff that I've singled out. So what I want to do is I want to separate so I can find just that clump. And of course now I lost it because it's kind of just hanging out. Hello. You want to give me kisses? You're a good girl. So you're going to separate to just find that one. You're going to get your comb. You're going to just take the very outer portions of the teeth, hold it, and you're going to get in and you're going to hold the skin above it, or the hair. You're going to hold that nice and firm. And I'm just pinching a little bit. I'm not pinching the skin. I'm just holding it so that the skin is nice and flat. And when I tug against it, it's all the hair isn't going to just come with me. So you hold it nice and flat and then you just pull it out. That's all you really got to do. So let's say you've got a little one back here. This is going to be trickier because your cat is going to want to go away. So you're probably going to need a second person to just prevent them from walking off the table. They can hold by putting their hands on the cat's shoulder or by hugging them like I showed you, kind of like this. You can wrap them up in a towel. Let me go ahead and see if I can demonstrate that for you. With the towel. This with the towel will work very, very well for mats in the back. All right, so we've got my towel flat. I'm gonna put her right in the middle, encourage her to lay down. Good girl, lay down, shoosh. Then with her front feet in front of her, I'm gonna take the outer edge of the towel and I'm gonna tuck it over her feet, under her chin. This way, when I put the towel in, she's tucked in like a burrito. So I'm gonna take one end, I'm gonna come around and I'm gonna tuck it tightly under her feet. This way her body weight is helping to hold this edge of the towel in place. Then I'm gonna take the other side, come back around and go underneath her body. So again, her own body weight is helping to keep her nice and snug in this towel like a burrito. But it gives me a lot of opening back here so she cannot just walk away. So what I would do is if I've got a mat in this back area, put her nice and snug in the towel. I'm gonna have the mat area sticking out. Again, I'm gonna take my mat removal comb. It is not a mat rake, it is just a comb. The teeth are ground down, so I can comb her body with it. I would locate the mat, move the other hair to the side, put the comb underneath the mat, and hold the skin flat, and then tug real quick. Just a quick, short movement, like pulling off a Band-Aid. You don't want to sit there and pick and pick and pick. Now again, this only works for mats that are around the size of a dime or smaller. So these are only small mats. If you've got a big section of mat, you should probably either call me, and if I don't have an appointment available, you can also call your local veterinarian and they might be able to see you just to shave out that little piece. I do not recommend trying to remove larger mats at home or trying to shave them out because cat skin is very delicate and it can cut very easily. And if you cut it with your scissors or clippers, then the skin can actually rip and can cause a bigger wound. I don't use scissors at all when it comes to mat removal or trimming coat. No scissors. No, 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 no. So that is our mat removal and our comb out. Now she is all finished. So again, this is your friend. This is the one that you want to use. This is the one you want to use around feet and face. Don't use a flea comb. Don't use a Furminator on our long-haired kitties. You're just going to damage hair and they're not going to like it very much. This is what's really going to do the job. Now I remember I mentioned wire brushes are too harsh. These brushes are too soft. This brush is also too soft, it's not going to do anything. But it's nice. They might like it. Oh, this is nice. But it's not doing anything. It's not getting any hair out. Hi. So if you just want to have a nice grooming session where the cat is happy, you can certainly use something like a pin brush. She's like, oh, I like this one. Hi, do you like this on the tail? Big fluffy tails is probably good for, but it's not getting out any hair. So if this is just to be nice, if you want to be nice, you can use this. If you want to get out any hair, this is what you're going to need. Okay? So if you guys have any questions, feel free to pop them below in the comments, and I will see you guys at your next appointment. Thanks so much. Bye. Say bye, Andy. Time for treats? Time for treats.